Hey young artist. Today I learned something new and I wanted to share it with you. Did you know that without Black inventor Alfred L. Cralle, we wouldn't have an ice cream scoop? I didn't know that. I learned it today. So I'll tell you a little bit about him. There's not a lot about him online, but there are a couple of things. He was born in 1866 in Virginia, and he was born just near the end of the Civil War, and he grew up learning carpentry from his dad, and he became very interested in mechanics. So later in life, he took a job as a hotel porter, and he noticed the struggles that people had scooping that ice cream with a spoon. So he made an invention. It was called the ice cream mold and disher. And it didn't break, it didn't hurt the spoon digging out that ice cream. And it didn't stick to the ice cream. And it was a very great ice cream scoop altogether. And it was very useful. And we use it even today, thanks to Alfred L. Cralle. So we're going to do a project based on this man today with some construction paper. So you can see here that I used a couple of different kinds of construction paper. So for this project, obviously, you're going to need some construction paper. So you can see here I used black construction paper, I used brown construction paper, I used yellow. This is actually just white paper colored silver. And then I used orange and I used red. I used this all from scraps, but I'm going to say that if you don't have all these colors of construction paper, that's okay, because I know that I did use a lot. What else did I use for this project? So besides a couple of colors of construction paper, I used scissors, a glue stick, a pencil, a ruler, and some crayons. So, what do I need from you with this project? I'm going to say that I would like you to have a cone, and I would like you to have at least one ice cream scoop here. I think the ice cream scooper is pretty cute, so I would like you to try to do the ice cream scooper, but you don't have to put a scoop of ice cream in there. I'm just saying, I don't want you guys to have to use a bunch of construction paper if you don't really need to. You ready to get started? I am. Let's do it. Okay, friends, let's do it. I'm grabbing my ruler, and I'm showing you the other supplies that I'm grabbing to have nearby. And you can see here that I'm going to break up my paper, so I just have one section, and I can cut out that section and use it for my ice cream scoop, so that later I can, put aside that paper and put it in my scrap paper bin and have it. Because I like to do that, I like to save it and, just throw away a little piece of paper. So I'm taking a Sharpie and I'm drawing lines across it. These are diagonal lines. I later go over these in crayon, so that's why I didn't say you needed a Sharpie in the materials. You could do this with crayon. I'm doing this pattern all over, so then when I cut out my ice cream cone, it's all finished and already patterned. Now here's the thing. Okay, I end up cutting down my ice cream cone a couple times, making it smaller because my ice cream scoops were too small for my ice cream cone, and I was just being kind of picky about it. But that's just a little thing. So I've got these little scraps now that I'm going to keep. I'm going to throw those in my scrap paper bin, and I just like to tell you guys that having a scrap paper bin is really nice, because then I can use a scrap paper from it. So if you don't already have one of those, I'd recommend making one of those. But you can see here, I'm just taking a regular old crayon, and I'm going over my Sharpie with that regular old crayon, so I would suggest, you could do that too. Now, something that I forgot to say in the beginning of the video, but I did write it out in the materials, was that you would need something circular to trace your ice cream your ice cream scoops with, so I'm sorry about that. But I also wanted to point out, you see how I'm doing that little scalloped pattern up there? And I'll cut it out. I'm using this and I'm gonna glue it at the bottom of my circle that I made, so that I'll get that nice little, edge that you get when you get a scoop of ice cream, because it's not perfectly circular, we gotta be accurate here. And you can see how I kind of messed up my circle cutting at the end. So I'm gonna cover that up with that little edge piece that I made. So I would recommend that you do this too. It'll look nice. I know that there's a lot of pieces to cut out here, and this is kind of a tougher project, but I believe in you guys. You guys are fabulous artists. So try it if you want. In the description, I did just say that you have to make an ice cream scoop, so if you don't want to try this, you don't have to. But it is a fun thing, and I think it made things look a little bit better. So try it if you want. Here's me cutting down my ice cream cone like I said I would, like being a little picky and cutting it down. So I guess you would have to use even less paper than I used in the beginning. But if you make bigger ice cream scoops, then you do that. All right, I tidied up my desk a little bit, and I'm tracing out another ice cream scoop. I would do this with your original tracer and the ugly circle that I made. I wish I didn't do that, but whatever. And then I'm doing another little ice cream scoop edge that I create here. So cutting those out. Using another piece of scrap paper, I had a bigger one. And cutting out my little edge there. So now I've got my piece of paper that I'm going to use as my background. You can use whatever color piece of paper you want. This was just a half sheet of black paper that I had in my scrap paper bit, so I'm using that. And I'm going to start gluing everything down here. I've got my ice cream cone first, and then I am deciding to put my big circle, my big ice cream circle down first. And then I'm putting my little scoop edge part to it right there. And it makes it so my ice cream cone just lines up really nice and looks really nice. And I don't know, I think it looks good. So I'm going to do the same thing. It kind of overlaps here. I would use a bigger piece of paper than I did. Or you could do what I did and use that half sheet of paper. Either is fine with me. And yep, then I'm putting down my little edge there. I love how this is coming out. I think it looks so cute. So now I'm going to do some little details, throwing in some sprinkles in there with a crayon, and just doing some little detailing on my ice cream scoops before I go and put the ice cream scooper in that I'm going to make. Just getting a couple crayons and doing some little details here. Okay, here's a fun part. I'm starting by drawing a half circle and a line coming off of it, and then I'm kind of thickening up that line, and I'm coloring this with my silver crayon. Now, in a box of regular crayons, I think when you have at least like 36 colors, maybe less than that, there is a silver crayon. They come with most boxes of crayons if you have enough colors. So you should have a silver crayon. Or maybe not. I hope you have a silver crayon. If you don't, you can use gray. And I've got that little ice cream scoop that I just cut out. Now I'm deciding how I want to position that ice cream scoop on my paper. And I end up grabbing another piece of scrap paper right here. And I'm kind of lining up my ice cream scoop with that. And I'm going to grab a pencil and sort of draw a scoop out of this nice little piece of scrap paper that I had laying around. I really like this color yellow. So I ended up using this scrap paper for all it's worth. I don't think I have any more pieces of this yellow construction paper. It's just really nice. Okay, so I'm gonna make some little adjustments to this. I'm cutting the edges a little bit and making it a little bit rounded there, so it looks more like an ice cream scoop. It's totally inessential. I'm just having fun with this project. I just like the way it's coming out. Okay, so now I'm getting some glue on there, and I'm gluing that on. Okie dokie, guys, we're getting pretty close to the end here. I think what I'm going to do to finish it up is just draw some little, details on that scoop, and then I'm just drawing some, like, exclamation lines, I would call them, on the edges of my paper. But I'm just about done. Thanks for watching. Bye!